This is immigration attorney Parviz Malakouti, and if you are going through an immigration process, do you have to get a lawyer who lives in your state and is close to you? It's a good question. It's a question that I see from time to time, and I'm going to answer it in this video. So if you've ever had contact with the legal system before, you may be used to the idea that lawyers are licensed in different states and that you should get a lawyer, sometimes have to get a lawyer that is licensed to practice in the state in which you live. In immigration, that is not the case, and that's because immigration is a federal practice. That means that immigration law in the United States is the same all over, whether you live in California or Nevada like I do, or in Pennsylvania or in Florida or in any other state. And so as a consequence, if you are about to go through an immigration process and you're looking for a lawyer, you don't have to get a lawyer that lives close to you. You don't even have to get a lawyer that lives in your state. You can have any lawyer represent you in an immigration process. So if you've been following a lawyer online, whether it be on social media or following their blog, and you like their style, you like their information, you feel comfortable with them, you can contact that lawyer and be represented by them in an immigration process. Now, there's two issues that come up that you need to be aware of. The first is, if you're going through an immigration process, let's say, for example, a green card application by adjustment of status that requires an interview towards the end of the process, you do have to make accommodations for that lawyer to come to the interview to represent you if you want to be represented. So that's one issue that comes up. Now, that's not really an issue that's a big deal. In my case, I've had clients, and I have clients that are all over the United States, and I just fly out to wherever they are at to represent them in that USCIS interview if necessary. So that's one issue. That's something you should be aware of in case you hire a lawyer that is outside of your area. Totally surmountable obstacle, not a big deal. Now, there is one case in which I would recommend somebody going through an immigration process do get an attorney that practices in their state, preferably around their city. And that's if you are in removal proceedings. Removal proceedings, aka deportation court, aka removal court. If you find yourself in that process, I highly recommend that you consider getting a lawyer in your area, because removal proceedings generally require a number of hearings that usually have to be attended in person. Now, some of this is changing right now because of COVID. There's been some immigration courts that are making accommodations so that one doesn't have to necessarily appear in person. But the reality is, after COVID is over, I think we're going to be making a return back to the pre-COVID custom of basically having lawyers and respondents appear in person in court. So you probably want to have an immigration attorney that lives close to you, that practices close to you, so that it's not an issue every single time a hearing is scheduled that they have to fly into town. Versus the other situation that I spoke about, where if you're applying for, let's say, adjustment of status, if there's an interview, it's probably going to be just one interview. Lawyer flies in, represents you, and flies out. So anyway, that's my answer to this question. Of course, I am representing immigrants. I'm a California licensed immigration attorney. If you're about to go through a process, you're looking for an attorney, you want a consultation, feel free to click on the link below and the booking link and book a consultation. Otherwise, have a great day and happy holidays.